Welcome back. My name is John, the Unhoused Wanderer. I'm just out here on a stormy, yet warm 4th of July morning. Just trying to get a little nature. There's going to be a big parade by my place. So I'm just avoiding people, I guess you could say. But I mean, it's more than that. Getting out in nature. It's kind of my way of worship, as it were. Get outside, experience nature, use all my senses. Yes, I do forage things and even taste them. But yeah, it's peaceful out here, getting out. One of my favorite spots in the middle of the city, along the Milwaukee River. So come along with me. We're gonna hike, talk, and I'm gonna explain to you how to achieve happiness. So like, subscribe, comment, do the thing. Alright, nice. We have some mulberries. Also bugs, but mulberries. Here's this fallen tree, which looks like it may have brought, here let me put my water bottle down, looks like it may have brought a few of these berries within picking distance. Some of these aren't ready yet, but whatever, they'll be a little sour. Alright, rain jackets, they trap heat. But anyway, before we get to the key to happiness, I'll just give you a little bit of my background. So, grew up in a poor family with a single mother. Father died when I was very young, but he was, slippery. He was very abusive to my mother. Probably would have been abusive to me too, and he was a bona fide card-carrying, literal card-carrying white supremacist. So, he died. I didn't really get any of those beliefs pushed off on me. Kind of like a very late Gen X or elder millennial. But yeah, I grew up single family, really not much attention, and I realized I could get attention by acting out, which is, I suppose that's typical with kids. Little tiny chipmunks. So yeah, here we are many years later, looking for mushrooms. No, here we are many years later, and I'm partying as a teen, doing a lot of drugs, making bad relationship choices, making impulsive decisions. Was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression, given medications that never worked. And eventually just ended up getting married, having kids, trying to live a normal life while struggling with these mental illnesses. And it became a real challenge. It led to a criminal record I'm not proud of, domestic violence with two of my children's mothers. I should mention at this point that I had a misdiagnosis. It was actually borderline personality disorder, so none of the medications I took worked, and none of the therapy I was given seemed to help at all either. Eventually I ended up finding a job that, I could hold. Thought it was fun. It was security, concert security, nightclub bouncer, that sort of thing. But with that came a lot of drug use. And then suddenly came the pandemic. I was left alone, given a lot of money. I worked, in the entertainment industry, in the, hospitality industry, in the nightclubs, But yeah, it was, I was one of the first jobs to get cut when the pandemic started. Got that unemployment right away, and next thing I know, I'm getting all this extra money, all this extra time. And that's when I realized I was a drug addict. Let's just enjoy the scenery for a little bit, I guess. I'll continue. Yeah, I quickly realized that I had to get sober. I had some issues with my eldest daughter at that time. She too had issues with drugs and an abusive boyfriend. My father was abusive. His father was probably abusive. I was abusive. My daughter got with an abusive man, and the cliche about abuse cycles, they do exist. So that tattered relationship with my daughter is what made me realize, all the chaos that came with it made me realize that I had to get sober. So I did what I could to get sober, which I'm not meaning to promote it or anything, but I used LSD therapy with my own version of cognitive behavioral therapy, where I read lots of Stoicism to kind of change my outlook on things. Then once I got sober in that way, philosophy started becoming more of an interest to me. I used to be somewhat of a nihilist, and like Albert Camus said, the nihilist who chooses to live chooses human life as the most precious thing in an absurd world, and therefore the reason to live. And now here I am, sometime later. I have a job working for a nonprofit, successful nonprofit that helps my actual community. A very famous nonprofit at that former presidents have worked with, not to mention huge corporations and whatnot. And I don't make a lot of money, I just work part-time, but I feel like what I do matters. I donate my time when I can to an urban farm that grows food for people in need. And now, probably most importantly, I just have hobbies. I have hobbies. And I know you think you were gonna hear something world-shattering in a video titled "The Key to Happiness," but honestly, even with some very difficult times in my life, I've discovered that the key to happiness is just staying busy, constantly learning, staying curious. Just never stop with that childlike curiosity that, glass is fogging up, it is warm out here. But yeah, never stop with the childlike curiosity that can get you through some dark times. My thing, it started with getting outdoors and foraging for mushrooms, learning about mushrooms. There's something almost powerful in going from flirting with homelessness, which, come on, let's admit it, the unhoused wanderer, I do have a home. I don't really wander right now. I'm stable enough, I'm not materialistic, I don't even own a TV, so I'm content with what I do have. But, yeah, sorry about the pause, I smoked. So let me collect my thoughts again. And it appears I'm getting close to the American plum that I wish to clip and take a bit home to propagate. So once again, I lost my train of thought. I will be right back. Okay, I'm not the greatest at identification without seeing the fruit, but this looks like it. Kind of this scabby looking trunk, which comes to these kind of lancelet leaves, but then some of them look like this. So whatever, I'm gonna grab a couple clippings of this. Oh wait, hold on. I don't know if you can see it in here, but there are fruits. That's the plum tree. I got it. Alright, so I did get me some American plum clippings that I'm going to take home and get a little bit of rooting hormone on there, stick them in some potting soil. But to continue with what I was saying, this is all part of it. It's going out, learning about mushrooms, which ones I can eat, you know, and there's a power in that. And then I started learning about what plants I can eat, what roots, what berries, what leaves. I learned about perhaps my favorite plant, stinging nettles, which is a very, very researched plant, very studied plant. It has tons of health benefits. And you know, it's just I found like not only some confidence in this, like even if I do go homeless, I'll always be able to feed myself, but I was also able to just learn about something that had been missing in my life, like the nature. I spent so much time in the city growing up, so much time partying around other people, not giving myself the opportunity of individuation, as Carl Jung calls it. Just spending time alone to become who you were meant to be, which for me it's I don't know, it's a mushroom farmer, a gardener, a farmer if I can be. Just, you know, like I just want to be outside and commune with nature now. My curiosity, my hobbies, all of which involving nature, they, you know, from camping to gardening to growing mushrooms to even my jumping spiders, all just stem from my curiosity about nature. I love this in particular. We can get all of these edible plants, all of this beautiful nature next to this river that is nowhere near as polluted as it used to be. This is just very tannic water. There's a lot of pine and oak along the Milwaukee River that gives it this brownish red color. Alright then, so I guess to wrap things up, just you know, always, as cliche as it sounds, always strive to better yourself. Always try to improve something about yourself. Even if, like me, I have no real motivation to work for a corporation making somebody else money. Even if I could make more money, like, I find peace in servitude almost, not like a slavery sort of thing. That's the reason why I want to get away from working for somebody else, you know, serving your community, being able to, oh, fruit fly on my camera, being able to just get out and socialize with people in small amounts, and you know, so yeah, it's a job that gives me a sense of community. You know, there's other people I work with who, that sounds like a big ass bug was back there. There's other people I work with who haven't had the most prosperous life, kind of like me, same position, past addiction, criminal activity, and prison time. But we all have one thing in common, like we just kind of accepted that life can be hard, but it doesn't have to be hard for everybody. And it certainly doesn't have to be hard for you if you just, again, with the cliches, the old adages, like, the only thing you can truly control is yourself. So, you know, just how you react to things is 90% of whether or not you think life is going great or going terrible. You know, most people in my situation, leaf in my mouth, most people in my situation would be depressed about their situation, making peanuts, you know, barely able to buy groceries. But me, I just, I don't know, for once I really do feel whole. I really do feel like I'm living life the way I was meant to live it. You know, and it all stems from nature and curiosity for me. Now, you know, that's not for everyone, of course. But yeah, the meaning of life for me was just, it was only found after I was able to live it the way I was meant to live it. Alright, some brambleberries. I'll pick one or two. Alright, so thanks for coming on this little walk with me, having a little talk. So, yeah, you know, I don't claim to have all the answers to life. I just know what works for me. So, if you want to know what the meaning to life is, you know, go out and find it, I guess. The key to happiness is that meaning to life. You know, when you feel like you found your meaning. So, thanks for joining me. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Help me out with that algorithm.